Sugar Ray Robinson is, to many people, to much of the boxing world, the greatest fighter of all time. And there is plenty of reason to give the original Sugar Man that accolade. One of the reasons people do this, it's not just to do with bowing down to a consensus. It's that from 1943 to 1951, Sugar Ray Robinson goes undefeated. 92 fights, 89 victories, just 2 draws, with 55 big knockouts. Now, you may realise I'm actually missing a fight there. Well, that is because during Sugar Ray Robinson's European tour, in 1951, he fought a German, Gerhard Heck, who he beat in the second round, or at least it appeared that he'd beaten him. Robinson had this habit during his offensive salvos of looping in those hooks to whip shots round the back, specifically into the kidneys. Heck was unable to continue after a few of those, and the fight was later deemed a no contest. So that stopped it being a cool 90 wins with 56 knockouts. So in 1943, the naturally bigger and at that time already middleweight Jake LaMotta interrupts 40 or so fights undefeated by Sugar Ray Robinson. Exactly 3 weeks later, this is during the same month, Robinson fights him again and beats him. They would fight 6 times, and that other one was the only one LaMotta would win. Sugar Ray Robinson now goes on what is very arguably the most impressive winning streak in the whole of Queensberry rules, and he starts really picking up the pace. In 1945, he fights 9 times. In 1946, he fights 16 times. 10 times in 1947, and I believe in 1949 another 13 after a comparatively steady 1948. 1946 was the year that Sugar Ray Robinson became welterweight champion. He won the vacant belt off Tommy Bell, his last fight of the year. That may seem like the most noteworthy footnote, but actually, the fight prior, he fought Artie Levine, and that was the fight in which Sugar Ray Robinson may have come closest to ever taking the full 10 count. He got blasted in the 4th round, managed to get up groggy at 9, continue, and somehow win in the later rounds. 1947, that was stained with the death, unfortunately, of Jimmy Doyle. And what's spooky about this is that Sugar Ray apparently had a premonition. He had a very dodgy dream where he saw his opponent fall by his hand and later die, which eerily is precisely what happened. Now, in 1948, Sugar Ray doesn't fight as much as he had been doing, which was a ludicrous amount, but he faces one of his most celebrated rivals, another fantastic welterweight, the Cuban Hawk, Kid Gavilan, who invented the bolo punch, a movement he got apparently from using his scythe and cutting down either wheat or corn in the fields. In 1949, Sugar Ray Robinson, again I said, fought 13 times, repeats his victory over the Cuban Hawk. Now this is where one of boxing's great tragedies, injustices, takes place. And that is that as Sugar Ray Robinson starts to exit his amazing peak, this is only when we start to get some watchable footage of the Sugar Man. A real crime, but that is just how it goes. There is footage of Sugar Ray Robinson fighting Sammy Angut in, I think, 42 or a little bit later, but it's hard watching. So Robinson goes on, 49-50. In 1951, he fights Jake LaMotta for the very last time, the 6th time, and stops him, now becoming world middleweight champion. He would, of course, go on to have an amazing crusade at middleweight, picking up the title 5 times. But this incredible unbeaten streak would come to an end at the end of his European tour against our very own Randolph Turpin, which, depending on where you sit, is a bit of a disaster or an amazing victory. Robinson at welterweight, an absolute phenom, just a whisker under 6 foot, very long arms, and looped his shots in a vicious way. Yes, Robinson was light on his feet. He worked off the balls of his feet. A very nice jab as well, good movement, able to counter, tremendous feel for where you were. And I think that's very important for when people look at him and they have their idea of what the greatest fighter of all time should be. But Sugar Ray Robinson was primarily an offensive juggernaut, looped his shot, double and tripled his hook. Absolutely venomous with both hands, which of course was never more evident, his punching power, than when he took out the previously never flawed, I don't think, Gene Fullmer at middleweight. Now, if you look back at that incredible unbeaten streak, 1943 to 1951, you look at the quality of the fighters he beat. Some he knocked out. This was not filler. This was an amazing crusade. And you look at today's welterweight champions and fighters. Good talent, yes. But sprinkle them somewhere between 1943 and 1951, put them in Sugar Ray Robinson's way, and the odds say that they are going to be reduced to statistics.